Tell us how you heard about us before we jump in. iPad 19?
Um, well, I'm Evelyn Cully. I did hear you on YouTube, and I decided to follow you on the website. And I even call you up one day to talk to you. So here I am.
Okay, well, welcome, welcome. Erica, please introduce yourself.
I am Erica Baruti, and I also found you on YouTube and had a few chats with you, and I attended the breakfast that you had, the networking event a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that's how I found out about you, and I'm excited to get started or to learn more.
Very good. Brittany Freeman. Miss Freeman?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I actually found your information. You did a workshop at New Birth years ago. And my cousin who attended that workshop told me about you all. And so I looked you guys up and just kind of did a little research on your site and saw this opportunity. And that's what made me kind of join and stand up, because I was really intrigued about her feedback on the workshop that you guys gave at New Birth.
Okay. Well, welcome. And what's
Thank you.
everyone's background and where you located?
I'm located in Duluth, Georgia. I do have a procurement and sourcing background, finance background as well. So I did work for DeKalb County a few years ago, maybe about years ago. But I've never really been on the contracting side as a vendor. So that's why I'm interested in really understanding and learning all of the ins and outs.
Okay, well, great.
Thank you.
Erica, what's your background? In the iPad. Who's iPad again? I like to call your name.
Evelyn.
What's your name?
Eve.
D.
Eve.
B.
E-V-E.
Okay. Yes. What's your background?
I live in Iowa. I have background only in Christian education.
Mm. All right, Erica, what's your background?
My background is real estate investing and and grief coaching as well, but primarily real estate investing. And I'm here in the Atlanta area.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I want to be sensitive to people's time. Let me just give you all the information session that's an orientation, I would like to say, of GPI and our program and the federal government. Any other questions before I jump in? If not, we are again your procurement solutions. Right now is our time, but if not now, more than ever, just on what was passed a couple of weeks ago, and I'll go into a little depth with that shortly. But right now, while this administration is in office, they issued an executive order to these federal agencies mandating that they increase the percentage of awards going to minority-owned businesses. The goal originally is 5%, but then it increased up to 11%, with the goal of it being 15% by 2025. I like to always start out on my background and who I am and how I entered into this space. Originally, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. After college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my first job was with a company that was a part of the 8A program. I ended up going through 6 companies on one contract before I decided to start my own business in 1996. First year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year, I applied into the 8A program, which we'll cover shortly. And I quickly grew that business to almost $15 million in contracts. And that's where the problem began, because I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. Meaning the government was awarding me contracts and I couldn't even read a profit and loss statement. I started out as an event planner. And for me, that's what made sense. I knew how to coordinate an event, so I was able to transfer those skills into the business model. I've also had two partners, one who felt like he could run all his personal expenses through the business. The last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit. I ended up having my assistant to do an audit on his credit card. He in turn he conspired with two other employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, $125,000 in attorney fees, I had no more operating cash and I closed the business down in 2005. But what they did was push me to my new passion, meaning I realized no one was training small businesses on how to market to the government or how to even grow a business. So I volunteered for 2 years as a school counselor, ran out of money, applied for a position with the Small Business Administration, was hired in Philadelphia. But in that, that was the office that processed the applications that go through this program. My job was to service them once they got into the program. While I was there, I was certified as a contract specialist, which gave me a different perspective on how this really works, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I worked at SBA for 7 years, but I wasn't quite sure what steps the agencies took to actually put this contract out for competition. So by becoming certified, that brought it full circle. I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on how to market to the federal government and assisted small businesses to win. I'm gonna have to change that because one of my proteges has won a $1 billion contract in the last 2 months, and contracts across various industries. I've self-published a book called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. This was really based on that first business. So when you're looking at businesses trying to enter into this space, what I realized working at SBA and them coming to work, coming to our workshops, oftentimes they'll come in and then you'll get great information, but you're not quite sure how to connect the dots. Same thing with these government agencies. No one understands SBA's rules and regulations. And I will consistently say, unless you worked on the inside of SBA, nobody will ever know. So my goal is to eliminate some of your challenge and barriers. And the barriers include understanding the government language, understanding government processes, understanding, determine what programs I can become certified in, what documentations are required. Also understanding these government websites aren't connected. So that's where a lot of the confusion come in with small businesses because no one is talking to each other and everyone has their own website and databases getting into this space. So when you look at the federal government, does anyone know when the fiscal year starts and ends?
Ends in September, starts in
Really?
October.
That is good. September, hold on, I'm going backwards. September 30th, October 1st to September 30th. But before I get into that, I wanted to give you a brief understanding of what really is driving me and driving this program. And it was all based on my lessons learned at SBA and my lessons learned in watching and studying businesses at SBA. And so the first thing I tell small businesses is not to limit your business. Starting a business is not based on your skill set. And believe it or not, that's the biggest challenge that people tend to have, is understanding that I don't have to know anything about that contract to win this contract. And I say that because my mentor in that first business, once I won that first contract, he was asking me, why are you pigeonholing yourself? And it made sense based on those 5 companies that I've gone through. So I just changed my business model. Instead of being an event planning company, I was a management consulting, and I created divisions. In this space, there's no reason for you to pigeonhole yourself. So in Business Ready, which is our first module, we help you to create a business model, not necessarily on your skill set, but based on you having a sustainable business. Second, collaboration is key. All of these programs and these government contracts require that you collaborate. So in our second module, we put people into teams. And at that stage, we're the government. There's no need for you to do this by yourself. And we have to learn how to collaborate. That's the only way we're going to survive. Third, you must have the infrastructure. Does anybody know what what I'm talking about when I'm saying infrastructure? Anybody?
Is it the different divisions or companies that you partner with to form your business? How you choose to set up your business?
And great start, but more so understanding you need to understand the accountant and the attorneys. You heard that I was sued. So anybody that have employees, you need to make sure, that's W-2 employees, you have to make sure that you have this specific insurance called employment practice liability insurance. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered my lawsuit. No one told me. So all of this program is really based on SBA and what I learned in that first business. So yes, the government operates on a fiscal year. That fiscal year starts October 1st and runs through September 30th. What generally happens October 1st, the agencies are operating on what they call a continuing resolution, meaning they have a limited budget. So for you as that vendor, that's the best time to start building those relationships and targeting and marketing to those agencies, because they really don't have any money and they're just sitting around. So I said October, January to February is the best time for you to start marketing directly to those agencies, because once they get their money, and the budget has been approved, they have a short window to spend a whole lot of money. They have to get rid of the money by September 30th. So right now, we call it, what we used to call in DC, this is Christmas season. It's putting a fishnet out there, because right now they are trying to get rid of all the money by September 30th. And being a small business allows you to start competing on these types of buys. That's why I say, why federal contracts? Every year, SBA have set aside goals. 23% of the contracts are set aside for small businesses, 5% if you're woman-owned, 5% if you're small disadvantaged or 8A, 3% if you're, and 3% if you are part of the Hub Zone program. So what that does for you, the more certifications you have, the more you help these agencies achieve their goals. So as an example, if an agency awarded you a contract of $100,000, that agency gets $100,000 credit towards their small business goals. Now, let's say you're small and woman-owned. Now that agency gets $200,000 credit towards their goal. So the more certifications you have, the more you helping those agencies achieve their goals. SBA creates a scorecard because it's just a goal. And this is a way for SBA to, I guess, embarrass the agencies and publicize who met or who did not meet their goals by agency. They have a scorecard. I haven't gotten the last fiscal year scorecard, but you can see the amount of dollars that are going in each of these programs, and it's a whole lot of money. I want you to pay close attention to the 59 billion. That's for that 8A and small disadvantage. And I looked at this program specifically because I understood the value of this program, but I also wanted you to get a general idea of who was actually awarding contracts in this program, and what type of industries was winning contracts under this program. That's why I say there's no need to pigeonhole yourself in any industry. When I was working at SCORE and a lot of SBA's resource partners, oftentimes they would tell small businesses, you're not really ready for the federal. Why don't you start locally, go to the state, and then go to the federal government? I completely disagree, because when you're competing on local and state contracts, you're competing with a whole lot more people than you are in the federal space. Meaning, if I'm in Georgia, I can compete on a contract in California. It's now expanding your bandwidth, if that makes sense. When I look at this program is a program to my heart. And they just suspended new applicants coming into this program as of July 19. They've been trying to get rid of this program forever, and they are on their way. But right now, until they completely banned it, we still got to understand it. Hopefully we have enough attorneys that's going to go in there and try to fight this and keep this program for us, because it really is for us, and it is a business development program. It allows you to go to any federal agency and they can award non-competitive contracts. So, and this is a report that came out from the Inspector General and what they were seeing. And so when I look at these numbers, it's still shocking to me. When I started at SBA in 2008, it was probably 11,000 businesses in that program, and it keeps declining over the years. So you have a small percentage winning all these contracts. Our goal is for this to be a game changer for us. And what I realized when I left SBA, and while I was in SBA, was that people outside of that DMV era did not have any clue about this program. So when you all look at this pie chart, What stands out to anyone? Does anything stand out to anybody? Hmm?
Looks like Georgia.
Go ahead, finish the thought process.
Um, versus all of the other states. So it looks like there's a lot more opportunity in Georgia than it is in other areas. So we could potentially have I guess better luck in Georgia, but we also can leverage these other states as well because I guess they're not really being
Competing.
utilized. Yeah, yeah.
Very good. Thank you. This is what this chart tells, and I felt it while I was working at SBA, and I would go to a lot of events in Atlanta. What the program in Georgia are winning contracts. Everybody else is coming here to compete. There's no competition. What's here in Georgia, someone? What agencies? Nobody.
CDC.
CDC.
CDC, and then 5 military bases.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no competition. So that's my goal. And I realized there was a problem. When I look next door to Alabama, it's even a fewer number of firms in that program there. So I tell Georgia firms to go to Alabama. No competition. Your goal is to strategically position yourself to minimize your competition. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
In Florida, I would say my Latino brothers and sisters pretty much dominate that program. But my brothers and sisters were not there. So my goal is to get us into this game. And so what I did, so just to give you a general idea of opportunities out here, this is the database where you actually register your business to do business with government, but it also is where they post opportunities. And I just wanted you to see as we get closer to September, this number increases. And you don't have much competition. I also pulled out sample of some buys that you could buy, right? Do I need to be a painter to go after this opportunity anyway? Anyone? Just based on the title.
No.
So
What would you do?
you would
Find
get
a
on
painter.
a contract and find a painter to do the work.
There you go. And put your cost on top of it. You're
Right.
still gonna be managing that project. That's what makes sense. But again, we are trained to be laborers and self-employed. And this is what I'm telling people is that I don't have to know anything about that contract. It's all project management. That's all it is. This particular contract, what was this one? I'm sorry. This one was set aside a small business. Uh, this was another opportunity that came out of HUD. Every year, each agency have to have a forecast. I like HUD because HUD will update their forecast every month. So you can go in there and see what HUD is anticipating awarding for this fiscal year. Just to give you an example, this is a partial list of HUD's forecast that I pulled last month. So you're going to see recompete in new contracts. They're going to tell you when they anticipate it coming out and the award amount. They're going to tell you how they set it aside. It's small businesses, 8A. How are they looking to do the acquisition on this? So when I look at that third row, what do you see? Couldn't that be a potential opportunity for someone? What are they asking for?
Plex.
Perplexed. And now before it's out, like over here, you can't talk about it. So you see where these gray ones, they're telling you it's been posted. We cannot ask any question. You cannot contact us regarding this opportunity. But the ones who have the information has not been posted, it gives you an opportunity to get in front of it and start asking questions. So because it's not posted and I want to prepare myself for when it does come out, I would be emailing Miss Wilson to determine, well, how many plaques do you anticipate you need for this particular opportunity? So now I'm in front of it, already arranged with some vendors to purchase it. So when it comes out, it's now just putting my markup on top of it. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, the government buys everything. Reader services, personal assistant services, right? And it's a pretty good money there. Who would ever think, right? This is another one. Here they have, is that logistics? That's event planning. You see, and this was all total small business. $10 million to $50 million on that contract. Come on, that's the real money here. But we have to think big. We have to think bigger. We don't understand how to think bigger. So that's why I created this program. So you're starting out the gate with a business model that's going to be sustainable in this place. Why? And how you get into this game? You self-certify through this database that I just showed you, sam.gov. You can self-certify as a small business and a small disadvantaged business. There are 4 programs now that require a formal certification, meaning you have to submit and be an application to be approved by SBA. The 8A Business Development, the Hub Zone, the Women Owned, and the Service Disabled Veteran. For the 8A program, this is why I went to court. The social component they have a challenging with. But right now, in order to qualify into this program, you have to be socially and economically disadvantaged. And it's a 9-year program designed to build your business. This is the only program that I know that allows you to go to any federal agency and they can award contracts to your business up to $4 million with no competition. That's how I grew my first business so quickly. Everybody up in DC was in this game. So that's why it makes sense not to pigeonhole yourself. Do y'all hear that? Did you get, gotta get an amen from the church?
Amen.
Did y'all hear what I understood what I was saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
In order to qualify for the AA, you have to go through the SAM certification. Correct?
Yes, you have to be registered in SAM. But my
Okay.
goal is to teach you guys how to effectively compete as a small business first. And
Okay.
allow the 8A, because there's a time clock on that, to be the gravy on the train. Because what I saw on the inside was people tell them to go get their 8A and they don't understand the process. So they waste 4 or 5 years before they even get their first contract. My goal is that you walking in the door with guns. that you already understand the game and have a strategy. The Hub
Got it.
Zone program. Yes, ma'am. Someone had a question? Okay. The Hub Zone program is based on where your business is located. That program is designed to build communities. As long as your principal office of business is located in a hub zone and 35% of your employees reside in the hub zone, they don't have to necessarily be in the same zone as your business, but reside in the hub zone, you can qualify into this program. This is what has come in the courts. And the courts ruled against SBA using these factors to determine whether you socially disadvantaged. These are the qualifications. You have to be a U.S. citizen. And if you're a member of any one of these ethnic groups, you automatically qualify under the social component. The economic is based on your net worth, meaning your net worth cannot exceed $850,000 minus any equity in your home and any equity in your business. So what SBA will look at when you're applying into this program is if you have any rental properties, those are that equity in those properties will be counted against you. Do I have any real estate agents on this line?
Not agents, but I'm interested in real estate development. So that part was interesting. I'm nowhere near that dollar amount,
Okay.
but that part is interesting.
But if you're working in this space and you have a business, I tell all businesses they really want to have this industry code that's 541611. That's a catch-all code. Because with this program, they don't allow agents or brokers in it. They're not allowing it to be an investment. So what we're doing is putting people in one of these, the primary code where most of the contracts were awarded. That's what makes sense. That's what I was showing you all back here so that you can see what we're going to do is create a business model based on where the agencies are awarding contracts. That makes sense to me. And then you're going to find team members that can perform in those areas. Are y'all hearing me? And does this make sense to you guys?
I'm with you.
Okay. All right, good. So the 8A, based on your socially and economic. The other component of this is if you have a record, but you're not on parole or probation. This is another way to change the dynamic of that just us systems for those who have touched that system to be able to come out and start a business and apply into this program. The hub zone, no term limits. When I look at the hub zone, I like to look at what Magic Johnson did. What did Magic Johnson do, someone? Anybody?
Went to Harlem and started there.
He went what?
Into Harlem.
What did he do?
I think he started with a movie theater or
Yes.
some other kind of business like that. Okay.
Yes. He went in and had movie theater, Starbucks, and he partnered. And then he hired people from within the community. This is the same concept in this program, is to build the community. So what you see here is the same opportunity for that program for competitive and sole source contracts as well. But the difference between this program and the 8A program in order for an agency to award a sole source contract under this program, they have to be assured that there are at least 2 companies that are qualified. Whereas for the 8A program, they don't have to be assured that somebody else can qualify. I can just go in and sell my service, and they said, I like you, they can award me a contract. They can't do it under this program. These are the rules. Your principal office must be in the hub zone, and 35% of your employees must live in the hub zone. So my question to you guys, let's say I'm a home-based business and my address is in a hub zone. Will I be eligible for this program?
If your employees are also in the hub zone, I have some follow-up questions about this, but is that correct? If your employees are also there?
I'm a one-person show. I'm home-based.
Then you qualify
You qualify. Why?
because you're the employee and you're
There you go.
100%.
There you go. Very good. All right, you had a question, young lady?
I did. My name's Whitney. Sharita recommended that I come on this info session a while ago, and I just got the update. So thank you. But the office location has been eluded me. So I've been going after local, and I was looking to go after state opportunities next, but I think I'm gonna, based on your recommendation, skip that and try to follow your program into federal. But all of these applications will look at your office. And after the pandemic, people are much more open to co-working spaces and other flexible versions of offices. But I'm trying to figure out what is the significance before the pandemic to get, for example, my minority certification. With the state of Georgia, they would do an office visit and all of that. So I'm trying to figure out the significance of this office. If I need to invest money in an office, or can I just have a address somewhere?
I wouldn't do that at this stage of the game.
Right.
Because again, you could still win contracts just as a small business. And that's my goal, is to teach you how to go after low-hanging fruit. But
Okay.
no,
I'll leave it there.
No, I wouldn't do it at this stage.
Does it help to at least have an address that's strategically, like in a hub zone, like you said, or some other zone that's
as you go down, and again, this is based on the Census Bureau, they may relocate that area. It may no longer be classified as a hub zone. So this is the QR code for the hub zone map. So you get a general idea of what it looks like.
Okay.
So for instance, here, I was in Alabama last month. I put in an address, and this is how it's showing you're qualified as a hub zone. And again, it's based on the census tract. So these hub zones will change. But what I found with the hub zone program, the challenge becomes maintaining that 35%. Because again, they have to live in a hub zone, your employees. And so you're constantly making sure that you have enough employees that make up that 35%. Shayla, you still online, Shayla?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Can you, Shayla has processed a lot of the hub zone applications. Can you give them a general idea of what they are looking for in those applications?
Yes, ma'am. So for your hub zone application, they're looking for the majority of your employees to reside in the hub zone. So that is going down your payroll list, getting those addresses and putting them in this search engine here to determine whether they are in a hub zone. And as of July 1st, this year, they actually updated the hub zone map. So if you did this previously and your business, your employees did reside in the Hub Zone map, they may have changed those things this year. And then also too, your principal office needs to reside in that Hub Zone. So regarding your question, going down the line, yes, you want to make sure that your principal office is in Hub Zone, but if you are a home-based business, and you use that address and just put that address in, you can see if the address is in that Hub Zone map.
Thank you, Ms. Shayla.
You're welcome.
Did that help you out, Whitney?
It does. I mean, I definitely see that it's a moving target, and I don't have employees yet. I use contractors, but for people that I know that will have employees, that makes that whole part important, that you're building those relationships in those communities. So you have a constant flow of employees, because it's tough these days, I hear, to get people in and stay in jobs. So, but yeah, that helps.
Now, why is it's so confusing for businesses? There are literally 3 databases that people are using to have to apply into the program. For the 8A program is certified.sba.gov. For the Hub Zone program, it's the general login system. For the women's program, they've now added wosb.certified.sba.gov. So that's why it's confusing. In this program, again, they operate on the rule of 2, but it also allows you to get sole source contracts, but only if 2 people are qualified. You can self-certify, or you can use one of SBA's third-party certifiers, and there's a cost associated with it. For me, I prefer that you do it yourself, and that's some of the things that we cover in the course, that you'll know what documentation SBA is going to be looking for when you apply into those programs. And for me, you still have to give them the information, and they still just going to upload it in certified. You can do that yourself. I think people get overwhelmed because it is a lot of paperwork. But once you understand what they are looking for, then it's not that complicated, really. There's 2 components to the women's program: ED, that's economically disadvantaged, and the WOSB. For the ED component of it, it's mirroring SBA's the 8A program. So they're going to look at your net worth. The same things that I just told you on the 8A program, that's how they're going to evaluate your qualification into that program. To qualify to this program, minimum requirements: 51% owner, hold the highest office. Based on your industry, you can get around full-time doing normal working hours. And if you're a real estate agent or IT, that could be 24/7, but there's no minimum amount of time the business has been approved. And I think what's been occurring, I've been hearing on the outside, is 60 days people have been approved into this program. And again, those programs that don't have a term limit is who you want to go ahead and apply for. Do I have any veterans online? Whatever program I don't qualify for, I'm going to find another business with that certification for teaming arrangements. Always being able to collectively pull your resources together. Again, you can right now, I meant to take this out. You can no longer self-certify. This program has been moved to SBA, and now they are approving veteran certifications. Same thing, they get the competition to compete on sole source and set aside. So again, if you know some veterans, we need to get them into the game. And VA gives them first priority. Again, these are the qualifications. If you already self-certified, then they're going to grandfather you in. I'm not going to go over all the little details. We're going to provide you a copy of the recording if you're interested in that. Yeah, that's a lot. But I've given you the QR code to, I thought I had to do the QR codes, and you can go into more details about that program. I now want to show you some websites. Okay. Hold on, guys. Any questions about the programs?
I have a question about the Hub Zone program.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a rental property that's in a Hub Zone. Now, I have a tenant there. I know her, but she doesn't work for my company. Could I sort of hire her on as an intern or something? You know what I mean?
Yes.
To qualify?
Yes, but it's a resident. So I was the popo. I would do drive-bys. So if you're if you have a legitimate office in that rental property and you have a lease agreement between yourself and that property that you're using a portion of it as your office, then you can qualify into it.
Without adding the tenant as an
Oh
intern?
yeah, well you still will have to document payroll. So as
Okay.
long as that person worked 40 hours in that month and you got documentation from your payroll, then that could potentially work.
Okay. All right, cool.
Anybody else have any questions? I wanted to take you all to this database. It still feeds into sam.gov, but to me it's a little more user friendlier because it structured based on the government's acquisition. The sam.gov, you're going to get a lot of garbage. So in this website that I use, I say you go in shopping. It's broken down by alphabets. Alphabets identify that industry. So I can go in and every day and see what is the government buying. What you see here is a source of salt notice. That really is the first stage of procurement for the government. The government's trying to determine first what businesses are out there and qualified to perform on these contracts. And once we determine if we got enough small businesses, then we go to the next phase and set it aside as a small business set aside. Here, now it goes into the solicitation phase. We're now ready to accept bids. And it's showing you how many opportunities are in each industry per day. What we encourage you to do, once you get your cage code, that's a requirement from this database, you can start competing on these low-hanging fruit. As an example, janitorial, landscaping, training. Again, your goal is to find people to do the work. It's project management, and you're putting your money on top of them. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have a quick question about that. So if we are like project managers, how do we sort of advertise ourselves for our company? You know, like if I go to
your management consulting.
Okay.
And that covers everything.
Okay. But my company name is like, has real estate in it. Do I
We
need to
would
change
do a
that?
DBA.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay.
Because here you go. I'm sorry. Here's an example of an opportunity I pulled up. That's RFQ. You see this one?
Yes.
U.S. Marion Dog Obedience. Again, I clicked on it, and then it takes me to the actual description of it, right? It's due August 18th. It's set aside strictly for small business. Do I need? So what would you do for this opportunity, someone?
Call up some dog training schools to see what they would charge.
Yes, that is it. It's not that overwhelming. Is looking for people in that area that do it, but make sure they're not registered in SAM so they won't be your competitor. Does that make sense? And this link always will take you back to the official link where they're going to give you the actual scope of work.
I do have a follow-up about that. So I was thinking the person that I'm working with, so I find a dog trainer. I used to have a Doberman. There was a guy who trained dogs, and I know a few others. Would I bring those gentlemen on if they were, capable in their area, et cetera,
Absolutely.
able to provide the service? Would I bring them on as consultants? Are they staff?
Well, it would depend on the level of effort in the contract. If it's a 5-year contract and it's consistent and you won't call, then they would be a W-2. But for these types of buys, which I'm gathering are the ones that are 250 below, those are project driven. So you can use 1099, but you want to make yourself the project manager over him so that now you're building some of your time, but you also put additional costs on him. That's how you're making your money.
Yeah, that was a good distinction about the dollar amount and sort of length of time. I know for smaller projects that I go after now, we usually build a team of consultants. So in my mind, I'm thinking, at what point do I need to have employees instead of 1099?
Multimillionaire. When you get those multi-millions, that's when you're looking at full-time employment. So in here, in the government, it's always clear instructions. They're going to tell you what they're looking for in those instructions. You just have to follow their instructions. And then, as I say, come on, this is the end of the year. This is when they coming up with stupid stuff to spend on. It's a catch-all. And it's the same cycle every year. I wanted to show you one of our protege. She came in as a real estate when I was still working. Hold on. Can y'all still see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a video.
Yes.
Or a website.
She comes in as a real estate agent. We broke out all the tasks that she does as an agent and created these divisions. So it doesn't look like it's on one person. It's all the perception. Right? Does that make sense to y'all? Huh?
I'm just reading through the website. So you said her website, she just delineated all the different seems like contract areas that she wants to be in. Yeah.
The divisions. Let me show you another. This is another one of my proteges when I was working at SBA. And again, what you're going to see is everybody really is doing the same thing, and it's okay. It really is.
did they put an org chart on there? Because that's one thing that I was concerned about on my website
Nope.
is, no, they don't put their org chart. They don't put their people on there. There's no leadership or any of that. Okay.
I would not. You just showing, you just faking it till you make it. If that makes sense. So when you look
It
at
does. Yeah.
when you look at his service, again, everybody's doing the same thing, and it's okay. And he's probably with probably about $90 million in contracts. All right. So our goal is, I say, is to dress you up so you look like everybody else. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
Right.
That is awesome.
Huh?
It does.
I said that is awesome.
Yeah, but that's the hardest part for everyone, is making that shift. Going to work, bringing people on and understand I don't have to know anything about that contract to win it. That's your role as the CEO. This is another database that I like to use. And so this allows me to go back and see what previous contractor awards are. It helps me determine what agency is buying what services. This is your tax dollars.
It was Eastern time.
Oh, was that the recording? And this gives you a general idea by state what dollars are coming in. And people get confused with the grant side and the contract side. This is strictly contract. Grants are generally for nonprofit. So I wanted to go in and just show you a general idea of what types of buys. I have one young lady, and so you can see what types of contracts she wants. While she was actually in the program, she started submitting bids. Confident. Let me see. See if it comes up. Submit. So it'll bring up the companies that are in this space, this competence. Hold on. Anyone have any question while I'm trying to go through this again?
So I was just helping to submit this proposal to the city of Atlanta. And one of the things that they had in there was a staffing backup plan. And that made me think, as I was looking at these different types of services, what I always have in my mind, if the contractor or the person that I hired to do the job doesn't get it done, I still got to finish the job.
Correct.
So, which is why I initially, like you said, had the mindset of I need to have some competency in the area that I'm partnering with, because if they fall out, then I'll be able to jump in, or I know somebody that can jump in and finish it up. But
that's all it is. It's big staffing.
So we just need to have another staffing plan. But what does that even look like? Because how is no one's waiting around to see if,
Well, in this space, the government will say contingency hires. And if that person, because the government's always hurry up and wait, and people have to move on. But as long as you're able to replace your key personnel with equivalent skills set, then they're okay with it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear how it makes sense on paper. So I guess I'll continue to live experience and see how it works out.
It does, because people come and go. That's the business. I said I had 40 employees. That was kind of crazy. But I wanted to show you all this opportunity that she won. It was for you see the industry code, it was for providing 3-day meeting space for the government. She contacted the hotel submitted their cost at $48,000. Her cost was $104,000. So she made a $60,000 profit off of that little low-hanging fruit. It made sense. And what do you see? Number of offers received. Can y'all see that? Anybody?
Oh, yeah, she was the only one to submit an offer. or
There's
to
no
respond to it.
competition on this level. I'm telling y'all. Because nobody's really looking and understanding this. And so she's won. I'm proud of her too. She's won a couple of more contracts going after this low-hanging fruit. Landscaping. All of these are just self-certified without any. You can see that first year, because she came in November 2019, she was paid $145,000. Come on. It's understanding the language and the game. She also had a landscaping contract in Miami. So my whole purpose of showing this is so that you can understand how you don't have to pigeonhole yourself in any space. My overall goal, this is my website, is we have almost 2,000 people in this database. We should never, ever have to leave home. If you're in Georgia and you see a contract in California, everybody in here have put together their profile so that you can research and partner with each other. We have got to learn to work together because that's the only way that we're going to survive at this stage. So just so that you can see what I'm saying, what is going on, which is really scary to me because they're really trying to take us back time. So on their website, this is just posted. That's not what I got. Hold on. I'm gonna go to certified login. I'm sorry, it's not letting me get where I need to get to. Yeah, but they, here you go. You see what this is? Have suspended anybody applying into this program. So my goal is to make sure you are at least trained up as a small business, going after the small business. But this to me is a program for my community. And up in DC, it's made a lot of millionaires. But this doesn't, it's just sad, and we gotta fight. I just need folks to fight for this. But anyway.
I have a question about this. Is the 7J program, would that be an alternative to this, or that's completely different?
The 7J is a training program. It's technical assistance. Okay. The 8A program and all the other set-asides are contract programs. That makes sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So our program is broken down into 3 modules: business ready, government ready, contract ready. After the first 6 weeks, Again, that business should be registered in SAM, the second module, and you can start competing on those 250,000 buys, the low hanging fruit. My goal is to get you a return on your investment. The price is $19.97. This will be the last month for this rate. Next month, we will be going up. If you bring in an additional person so that you can split that cost, that second person is $1,000. You have to make one full payment, and that second person could be $1,000. Everything each week you have lab and homework assignments, but all of it's applicable towards your business. I designed this program as stepping blocks, building blocks. I just need folks to stay on those sessions and just keep following the building blocks and going back and recapping, because we're giving out a whole lot of information. The next session will start Tuesday, August 22nd. Again, we cap out at 25 people. We also now have office hours. I'm generally on the office hours. The person who's going to be teaching the August cohort is one of my SBA colleagues that's retired, that's had 20 plus years in it. And then we have lab sessions and templates, because what you'll consistently hear us say is you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I provided templates from that first business that's a blueprint that's been effective, and people have been winning contracts following the blueprint. These are some of the examples of the deliverables that you would receive or will be required to do. This is when we put you into teams. And this is an example of a proposal. Copy of the book. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question that I might not have the appropriate language for, but I want to know if so you gave us the cost for investing in the course, and I'm wondering, are there other costs that you might be able to summarize that we might incur while going through the course? And I'll give an example of, I just sort of gotten all of my different registration paperwork for my business, and while I'm trying to get the minority certifications at the state level, and on the private and corporate side, I think those applications to get those certifications are like $800 here, $600 there. They're like a few $100s.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're not doing all of that. No.
Okay. And I know that's not federal, right? And on the federal level, you were saying that I think it was like the women-owned business, like I can self-certify in those classifications.
And I want you to, because we pay all this money to these consultants, and only thing they're doing is uploading the stuff in these databases. And I have a personal challenge with these E's, these state certifications and local certifications.
Yeah, I was about to ask, why am I paying this money on the state level if I don't have to pay it on the federal level?
And when you get those certifications, they never allow you to be your own boss. You're always going to be a subcontractor.
Under someone else. Correct.
Someone else. So I tell everybody, we start at the top because that's still my tax dollars, and then come down to the bottom. It still feels like they don't trust us to manage projects. Where on the federal, it doesn't matter. It's 250,000 and below. I can go after those types of buys and manage them on my own. I don't need a supervisor.
Right. Okay. That's good to know.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
One question. If I don't have a second person, is there like installment payment for this cost?
It's what?
Is there a like way to pay installment?
Again, negotiate with folks online. But I'm not giving that, telling you that. But that's how, again, we got to work with others.
Wait, did you say installment? Installments to pay for this course?
No, ma'am. Yeah. That's through PayPal. PayPal, there's a link on my website. through PayPal. At PayPal have a buy now, pay later link.
Pay later link, you
A
said,
buy now, pay later.
and you said it's where's the link?
It's on the website. When you go to register, you'll have two links. One that goes through PayPal and then one that goes through PayPal, buy now, pay later. Okay.
Is this program, does it teach you about buying from the DLA or selling to the DLA?
It doesn't focus on the product side. I would say a lot of DLA is a lot of the product side.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
I have a
Anybody else?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I have started, I started registering my business in SAM, and I keep having all these hiccups. I have already paid for the program. Can I get help with that now, or do I need to wait until the course starts?
Wait till the course start, because what you look like today is not what you're going to be looking like tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? So can I get 3 takeaways? Let me hear from Jay, Danta, Rachel. What was your takeaway?
I joined late. This is Dainta. I did not pay attention. This is on Eastern time and I am on Central time. And so I thought I was chiming in early, but I'm chiming in late. But the takeaway that I did get from what part that I did hear was that this is doable and you are not, don't pigeonhole yourself. And I am that person that's always outside of the tackle box. So I was glad to hear that. And I'm looking forward to, I'm going to work with a cousin who's already gone through your program.
Okay.
And they're already up and running. So I'm in Oklahoma. They're in St. Louis.
Mhm.
And I have 6 military bases in my town,
See?
in my state. So we're going to be working together. The other takeaway was we have to partner together.
Mhm.
We have to. That was
Yeah.
the other takeaway. We as a people don't do that enough.
Yeah. Right
We
now,
have-
it's survival mode for us
we are
because
surviving.
these folks, it's a sense of urgency. I don't know if everybody else is feeling that, but I am feeling a sense of urgency that we got to pull our stuff together and come together.
Yeah, because all the levelers, all the shims for the playing field are being removed quickly. Quickly. When you put that last panel up from the SBA about the state of Tennessee joining something to remove, what was that? I missed it. I couldn't.
It was, they won a court appeals in Eastern Tennessee. Somebody protested that they couldn't get any of these 8A companies that's going to all the Black African Americans and the brown people. And they won their case. They won their case.
They won the case.
Yeah. So
what they've done. Same thing that was that happened at the Supreme Court. So it's just going to go to every sector, every area, every part of our society. They're going to use that as case as okay. So it's all gone. We need to count it gone and get on with it.
Well, hopefully this will take a time, but right now they're not even accepting any new applications. And it's disturbing to me. It just breaks my heart because being up in DC and being a part of that program, I understand the success of it. And that is the game changer for our community to get ahead. But people outside of the DC area didn't have a clue about it. So that's why I'm on my whole mission. First, making sure you all understand how to compete as a small business.
So SBA won't take any more applications anywhere from anyone.
That is correct. That is correct.
Lord have mercy. So,
Ms. Paula, when you say we need to fight, what do you mean? What can we do to help change it? Is there?
We got to voice our stuff to these congressmen. We got to kick and scream. I'm working with an attorney out of DC that we've been working closely with, and I'm telling her, y'all got to get in there and fight for us because this scares me. This is taking food off of your table. Our generation. This isn't good. This is not good.
No, it's not good.
Mm.
It's there when they put it into place in the first place. At least back then, there was some legal recourse for in tort law to sue for discrimination if you could prove it. That now they've taken it away, and there's no going to be no legal recourse as well to sue for the discrimination that forced these programs in the first place.
Correct.
So we're not going to have the support of that, and we're not going to have the support of the courts to sue for the discrimination either.
And we don't have the power.
And we don't have
the power is changed in the Supreme Court, and that's the land of the law.
Yeah, so we have to build our businesses with a quickness and a focus.
Yes, intentional. And even again, learning. My goal for my community is really teaching you how to compete as a small business. The certifications is the extra gravy, because if they're not going to mess with small business set aside. So if you all at least understand how to go after those types of buys, we're way ahead of the game. I'm okay with that. But this just breaks my heart, because I know the damage that's getting ready to do. It's just not right. But anyway,
Is there a high note that we can end on? Oh, okay.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. I was gonna say with that, I'm just like, well, do I even need to do it now?
Yes.
But
No.
yeah.
No. It's you applying and going after those small business RFQs. They still gonna have the other program, the women program, hub zone programs, but right now they done stalled the 8A. And hopefully again, these attorneys are gonna get in there to make some noise to change, to not let it go where it's getting ready to go. That's what we have to pray for.
Okay, there are other opportunities. Let's take advantage now.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else? Take away.
One thing I learned is that you don't have to be in a state to win a contract in, which I still have concern about it. Do I need to go in the state to find a worker, or what do I have to do? Something like that?
That's what we train you on. It's finding how you find the people. It's like any other business. You're going to screen them and do the same thing that you would do on any other business. How you find those people? LinkedIn, Google, there's always different ways to find people.
Okay. Yeah, and then one thing also is that letting us know that you don't have to be in business for that long, because I think that was one of my concerns when I called you up. I said, because they keep telling us you have to be at least 2 years in business.
That's for the 8A.
Okay.
But as I showed one, if y'all go on my business too, let me show you this. This young lady, she started her business in 2020. And when she met me in March, I did one-on-one with her. She won 8 contracts. She submitted 20 contracts and won 8 out of the 20 for that year. She now currently has probably about 15 contracts, and she was still working full-time and have 3 babies under 5. So she set the bar for everyone. So I would encourage you all to go on the website and listen to all of this. This young lady I am the most proud of. She just 2 months ago won a $1 billion contract for 10 years. This is the game changer here. And that was just a small business set aside. yes, I'm hurtful that they're trying to continue to take away the 8A, but I'm also encouraged that I'm training everyone to first understand this space as a small business. And with that being said,
So it's still a chance for us to get a large piece
oh
of the
yeah,
pie.
yeah, or either continue to partner with others in that program. It's always different strategies. I'm a strategist to my heart.
Yeah, but we hope your other leaders keep bugging those lawyers to do something about it.
Yeah, we got to, it's a fight right now. And we cannot afford to be silent. And if, again, that generation before us that shut down transportation, if we can begin to think that way and understand we really do have the power, if we come together, we could shut America down. They still need us and our money.
Yes,
COVID
ma'am.
showed that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you guys, I do have to jump off. Thank you. I hope you become a part of the community. If you want a copy of this recording, because I'm on travel, we'll send it to you tomorrow or Monday, probably Monday. And then we hope you're able to join the community. So thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look forward
Yes.
to it.
We need a recording. Yes.
Oh, wait, how do we request a recording?
Can you put
So
in
we have your email from this webinar. So what we'll do is on Monday, once we get back from travel, we will send the email out to you with the registration link, as well as the information session link, and then as well as the business tube link as well, so you can view the previously recorded webinars.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
All right. Have a good weekend, everyone. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.